Life, and I am your hostess for today. This week's topic is advice that you would give to a new witch. I had actually asked this question in the Witches of the Archer Grove Facebook group, and this is a formal thank you for everybody who answered and is keeping the discussion going. If you see me looking down at my computers, because I actually wrote out most of the things I wanted to say, so I can kind of keep everything going and fluid, and I don't get all flighty like I usually do. Before I start, I want to let everybody know that there's a lot of things that I'm not going to sugarcoat, and you may not agree with me, and that's fine. And if you want to have a discussion, that's awesome. This topic seems really simple, but it's actually pretty serious. So the first piece of advice that I would give is to make sure that you know what a witch is, or a shaman, or a druid, or a Wiccan, or a Satanist, or whatever path it is that you're actually looking at, and why. Why are you looking at that path? If you just want to put a hex on your ex-boyfriend because he wants your best friend, this is probably not the best thing for you to do. If you're actually drawn to the spirituality of it and the gods and the goddesses and earth and nature and stuff like that and improving your life, this is something that may be for you. Keep in mind, though, it is a lot of work. This is one of those things where you get out what you put in. The more work you put in, the more you get out of it. So it is work. So first I would suggest reading a book, some books on your chosen path. Or there's online groups, there's Facebook groups, there's forums, there's all sorts of things. And you can also find a year and a day program that is always Wicca based. I think Wicca seems to be the one that has the year and a day program. Witch School and magicaschool.com both have Wiccan year and a day programs. I do think that Magic School may still be free. I know they're under new management, so I'm not sure. That is actually where I started, and that is when I decided that I was not Wiccan, but it did give me a good basis foundation of moon phases and spots and a lot of other things. Whatever you do, don't label yourself. That is how you put yourself into a little box, and that prevents you from growing and doing and learning things. Read everything, absorb everything, question everything. Don't take everything for face value. If you don't agree with somebody, you don't agree with somebody, and that's awesome. And do your research. If you still can't find answers, then ask them. It's kind of irritating when a new witch asks questions that are easily found just by looking at a book or some online stuff. So just keep that in mind if people get a little snarky when you ask simple questions. Beginner books that I recommend is Thea Sabin's Wicca for Beginners, and also Scott Cunningham's Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. And also The Inner Temple of Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak, and this is more meditation and psychic development based. So I'm working through it. I'm on lesson 5 right now, and this is actually a year-to-day program in itself. I feel that the year-and-day concept is important because it gives you time to figure out what path is right for you, and just remember that you can change as time goes on. Go with the flow, go with everything. We are human, we are meant to evolve and change and to go with the flow, also as witches too. If something works for you today, it may not work for you in a few months from now. If something else calls to you, then that's the direction that you're meant to go in. That's how I feel about it. Usually once people figure out which direction to head in, the first place I look to is the gods and goddesses, and I strongly recommend you wait on that, because you're going to be doing this your whole life, and gods and goddesses are very important, but you don't need to find one tomorrow. The most basic thing that everyone needs to know, even non-witches, is how to cleanse, ground, and protect yourself. Figure out what works for you, because there's a lot of different ways to do those things, and I know each path kind of has this, not, I won't say each path, but there's especially a lot of different ways to cleanse, a lot of different herbs and stuff that are used in different paths. You need to know how to get rid of other people's gunk and negativity, and to protect yourself, and to cleanse yourself before ritual and spell work, just because you're also going to start to open yourself up to some new things that you may not be ready for. My favorite cleansing is a simple salt and oil scrub that I make. And grounding is connecting to the earth, and protection is a very, very individual thing that I can do a whole nother video on, and I actually may. So do what you feel is right for you. Your personal shields are always with you, so you want to work on them and keep them really strong, because they are going to be your first line of protection, and that's not something that you can lose or disappear, or will disappear. Cleanse yourself in your home regularly. I end up cleansing myself 2 or 3 times a month at least. That's if I'm not doing any spell work. In my house at least once a month. I do it more often if you have a lot of people coming in and out of your house. It's only me and my kids, so I'm comfortable with doing it once a month. That's actually my new moon ritual. Research everything you are interested in. Have it be Reiki. Have it be fairies. Have it be astrology. Have it be Vedic astrology. There's so many different things to do. And also, don't be afraid to look into different paths as well, like voodoo and Santeria. We have the Norse, and I actually didn't read this one, but it's about witchcraft and demonology, and I have actually done research on Satanism as well. I just don't have any books on it. It will give you the ability to learn about different faiths and to have respect for different faiths and different people. We want people to respect us. We also have to respect different faiths. But you don't have to agree with everything either, because they're not going to agree with everything that you maybe believe in. And you might find a common ground with them, and then you may actually decide that you want to go into one of those faiths, which is also awesome. And how would you know if you didn't read into it? Also know why you do something and why you believe in what you do. Experiment, but do not dabble. Don't be afraid of your power. Do not be afraid of your power. Get to know it. Work with it. Use it. It is a part of you. Figure it out. Your spirit guides, your totem animals, and your ancestors are your greatest assets. Get to know them and work with them. In my opinion, it seems like people more of the, I guess I say African traditions, they're more of the voodoo and the Santeria types, work with their ancestors a lot. It kind of gets lost. I feel like it kind of got lost with the Wiccan movement. They kind of more focus on the gods and the goddesses. So, work with your ancestors. A really good book is Christian Days, The Witch's Book of the Dead. Something like that. It's definitely Christian Day. And also, The Cauldron of Memory by Raven Gramazzi. I've met him. He's actually a really nice guy. I know there's a lot of controversy about him. And Christopher Penzak also has a book about different kinds of spirit guides and meditations on how to meet them and their qualities and whatnot. I have to say, my totem animal has been my greatest. I see him the most. The stag or the buck, and painting I have back there that I need to mail out still, because that's actually not mine. Define your own morals and ethics, and don't let someone push theirs on you, and don't push yours on somebody else. One of my favorite phrases is do no harm, but take no shit. I personally don't believe in karma and the threefold law. I do not follow the Wiccan Rede, but I'm not going to convince you that they're real or that they're not real, because to you they may be real. To me, it doesn't work for me. That could be topic for a whole nother video though. At the same time, I don't mess with people just to mess with people. That is not my morality. That is not my ethics. That is not something that I do. I don't do that. But if you mess with me, I will bite back, because I'm a warrior spirit. I can't help it. Connect with nature. Learn how to meditate. Cast a circle. How to close quarters. Symbolism. The moon phases, colors, etc. Find out why those colors mean what they mean to you. For prosperity, maybe for you, maybe green and gold. For me, it's green and silver, because I don't like gold. I wear silver. So it just does not work for me that way. Experiment and find out what works for you. You may find that I don't always cast a circle. I don't always call it quarters. I don't always feel the need to. So I don't always do it, but I always do something for protection. And that is why I don't do those. And that's why I know why I don't do this, because I do something else for protection, and I don't feel the need maybe to do a full-fledged circle. Don't be afraid to do, but make sure you are prepared for the consequences. A few months ago, I did a spell to draw a man to me because I was hoping that it was going to be a specific person that I was trying to bring back to me, but it was a non-specific spell, because I don't believe in affecting free will. So all of a sudden, men that I have no interest with, that I thought I kind of squashed that romantic sexual stuff with, started hitting on me, and I didn't really know how to handle it at first, and then I had to just laugh at myself because I knew it was a spell, and I knew it was stupid, and I probably shouldn't have done it, but I actually learned something from it. So in that way, I'm glad that I did it. Take a chance and learn a lesson, and don't get mad if something doesn't work out the way it needs to. I was laughing about it. That is also just how I am. Pay attention to the signs. They come in all shapes and sizes. I've noticed a lot of the times when I'm down or I'm lost or I'm thinking about things, I'll randomly see a deer, and that lets me know that everything is going to be alright. That is my sign. At the same time, not everything is a sign, so don't take everything so literally either. Pull yourself out of your comfort zone. I have a spear of spirits and the dead and of ghosts, however you want to classify it. But a few months ago, I actually spent an hour walking around the cemetery and took video and took pictures and all sorts of stuff. Because I felt it was something that I should do for myself. And I made sure that I was protected and I cleansed before and after I went to the cemetery. Know your limits and never conjure something that you cannot banish. If you don't want to do magic, don't do it. I personally feel you're doing yourself a great disservice if you don't. But if it's not something that you want to do, don't feel pressure that you have to do it. Don't be afraid of the dark, of the shadow, or however you want to word it. Excuse me. We cannot appreciate the light if we never see the dark. We are human. We need to dig out our crap. We need to release it and get rid of it. Pain, headache, heartache, blood, tears, they're all part of the human condition. They're all part of us. You can't deny them. The world isn't all rainbows and unicorn panties. So don't act like it is. The love and light phrase kind of drives me a little crazy because I always work with love, but not always with light. So maybe it's just the light part of it. Love, light, and dark. I don't know. Work with your sexuality. Work with your passions. Work with what drives you. Sex is very, very, very powerful magic. And don't be afraid of it. But also know how to use it safely. And by sex, I don't necessarily mean sex with another person. I believe that sex is very sacred. So when you have that kind of physical connection with somebody, you are intermingling your energies and your auras and creating connections and cords and stuff that you may not be able to cut. And you may have a lot of them if you are one of those people that, yeah, you know what I mean. So by embracing your sexuality doesn't mean necessarily having sex, and it can also be a solo session too. So those are very, very powerful. Don't fall into need that I need all of this stuff except for books. I always say read. It happens to the best of us, and there's so many tools out there, but you don't need them all. Figure out what you're actually going to use and use it. I have tools that I never used but I bought because I thought that I needed them. My selenite wand and my athame are two really great examples of that when I was actually researching Wicca. But I just don't use them in my practice. And don't get something because somebody else says that you need it. My greatest tools are my candles, my crystals, my oils, my herbs, and my favorite is my cauldron because I can burn stuff. And my Florida water. I love Florida water. I love Florida water. Do I feel like being a pyro right now? No, that's I'm not gonna do that. You can actually put Florida water. You can take your petition or whatever you have and put it in your cauldron and put Florida water on it and light it on fire, and it looks awesome. It looks awesome. Okay, do that safely, please. Learn the sabbats. Figure out if you want to celebrate, what you want to celebrate, and what each sabbat means to you. If you don't have the time or the ability or even the want to do it, then just don't. Don't feel pressure to do certain things. Sometimes I do really, really simple things like go apple picking with my kids for Mabon, and to them it's just fun, and for me it celebrates the harvest. I do Yule, my parents do Christmas. I do Ostara, my parents do Easter. That is how I have it worked out. Say thanks, light a candle, do a 2-hour ritual if you want to, do whatever you feel that you need to do by yourself, with a group, whatever it is. Pick a divination method and study the hell out of it. Read for yourself, for others, practice, practice, practice. That will greatly help you with your intuition and your third eye. When you come across a problem or a question, you will have the tools that you need to help you out. There isn't any shame in asking somebody to do a reading for you or paying for one to be done, and always, always never fight on payments, because it's, you don't work for free. I don't work for free. You don't work for free. We don't work for free, and it's work. That's my personal opinion. Swapping is fine. If they offer, that's fine. Don't expect a free reading. I do offer them on my own personal channel, but that's not any expectation of anybody else's. I will get a reading done when I think that my own perception of a situation will skew my interpretation of the reading. That usually has to do more of like with my personal relationships. Sometimes when I do cards, I see what I want to see and not what is actually there. So I will get somebody else's perspective on a deeper subject. And sometimes I just like to check in, just to see where I'm going, so especially if I feel a little lost. Because I know people who are more deeply connected and do readings more often than I do for myself. So now we get to deities. Personally, I've only worked with the goddesses that have come to me, but you can approach any deity or spirit that you wish. Just be prepared that they may not be the one that answers. When I first started out, I researched the heck out of Odin and the Morrigan, but I decided that they were too intense for me, so I didn't approach them, even though I did see some signs from the Morrigan. I did really appreciate that. I wanted someone nice and fluffy to coddle me, and to just, yeah. And then Hecate came to me in a dream, and I embraced it, but at the same time I kind of avoided it. Research them, their likes, their dislikes, people that work with them, talk to them, meditate. I found that people that work with Hecate usually have different versions of her, and that is because she's a very, very, very complex goddess to work with. She gives you what you need, not what you want, and that can be a hard pill to swallow sometimes. But it will make you a stronger person in the long run. She will break you down and build you back up. So she won't break you down and leave you. She will build you back up. But it is work. She's everything. She's a 3-form goddess. She is the earth, she is the sea, and she is the sky. She's not the maiden, the mother, and the crone. That's different. She's the queen of the witches and the crossroads and the ghosts and the demons. And she will use her demons to either protect you or go after your enemies or use them to teach you your own lessons. Craft for craft. Get creative. And one of the things that I did is I painted Hecate's wheel on this piece of wood, and that goes on her altar. And she was very, 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 very happy with that, and I'm very glad that I made it. Freya came to me in November of last year, and she has a totally different energy because she is the sex goddess. Hecate taught me to shut up and deal with what I needed to deal with and just buck up and be a woman about it, and then Freya came in and taught me how to be a different kind of woman, to embrace my femininity and the more sexual side. She has also changed some of my views about the traditional way of giving offerings and also of receiving messages. I'm not going to go into detail with that, but considering she's a goddess of sex, I will let you use your imagination. Working with the both of them has, after 20 minutes, my camera decides to quit out on me. So, continuing on. Working with the both of them has turned me into a well-rounded woman and witch. So, I believe that the energies kind of blend well with me. They are different pantheons. They need their own spaces. They do not share space. When they work through me, it works for me, and they work together, but they are different and they need their own space. That is the one hard, fast rule that I do follow, and I feel everybody should follow, is you do not put your deities together. I know Mystic Witch, he works with different deities, and I've seen pictures where he had, he put out offerings, and he had Yemaya and Oshun on the same table, but he had different cloths that split the table in half and different offerings for each, and he had their pictures up, and that was a wonderful way to keep their spaces separate. But if you don't have a lot of space, to conserve your space. So I thought that was a really, really great idea. There's also Dionysus that I work with too, and he has helped me to loosen up and to have some fun. And I've noticed my wine consumption has gone up a little bit. But it seems like he is also the type of god that he is just down to party, and he will, if you invoke him, and he's just down, and you'll just have a really, really good time. So I do enjoy working with him as well. But at the same time, if you have a deity that comes to you and you're not comfortable with working with them, you do not have to. Respectfully talk to them and tell them that you don't feel comfortable working with them. When Freya came to me, she had just hit me with like this blast of hormones, and I had to ask her to just relax because she was pushing and pushing and pushing. And I had to explain to her that I'm not the type of woman to go out and go to the bar and take somebody home, and that's kind of what she just wanted me to get laid, and that's not my personality. So I had to ask her to back off on that one, and now we have an agreement, and we have an agreement that I've did with my dedication to her. Personally, when I did my dedication to both Hecate and Freya, I made agreements with the both of them, and I will be redoing them at about the year mark. That is my plan. So for Hecate, I do my monthly offerings. I also do my readings on the new moon on my personal channel. Freya gets flowers. That's why there's always flowers behind me. Her altar is actually right above here, and because it is a square shelf, actually, because I don't have a lot of space, so I put her on the wall. So these daisies are for her. I always make sure there's daisies. And other stuff I'm not going to get into because it's personal. So yeah. Okay, let's wrap it up. The most important thing that I can say to anybody, witch or not, is to just never stop learning. Never stop learning, never stop researching, never stop asking questions. And again, know what you're doing and know why that you're doing what you're doing. Challenge yourself and allow other people to challenge you as well. So, on that note, have a good one. If you have any discussions or any questions or have any thoughts or comments, feel free. Please, respect is all I ask from myself and anybody else that is posting. You don't have to agree with everything that I say. I don't expect it. I don't want it. We are human and we all have different opinions, and that is why it is what it is. So yes, have a good one.